I did. I grabbed the top, and so it. Yeah.
Okay, we are recording.
Wait, let her show me the dice shrine first.
What?
She's trying to show me her dice shrine.
Oh, well, we're recording anyway.
Okay.
If somebody wants to full screen the game.
Oh, wait, how do you do it on Xbox?
All the button layouts should be exactly the same.
Well,
So
okay. We'll not touch
just
anything.
call different things.
What?
Yeah, I need more jars, but
You do.
because I have more dice.
Did you take a picture of it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, because I actually sent it to Jared.
Sweet.
Um,
I love how the critical roll
yeah.
cell has the top.
It fit so perfectly. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's perfect. Because I didn't want to take it out of the thing that sent it in.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to take it out. I mean, it's an original
Right.
cell. It's like...
So,
Any in-game messages we could probably do through Discord.
yeah.
Yeah, you have an
Absolutely.
in-game channel.
So.
Great.
Well, and the nice thing is that with that, if people wanted to actually look at those things.
Yeah. Eventually might even be able to have a way that it pops up on the screen.
What happened on my channels? Okay.
In game.
Because I think Streamlab might have a way
In-
that the Discord can show up.
In-game is actually connected to our calendar as well. There's a pinned post in in-game that shows the date and the time.
That was a
It's not
test to see if
actually-
anyone needed to turn their things down.
Yeah, does everybody need to turn the phone off?
Me.
Yeah.
I do. I
Yeah.
Here's
I know.
Edie.
What? I mean, I'm asking Ben too because his sound was turned on earlier.
Oh, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was your phone ring.
Yeah, listen.
And I heard it ring.
Oh.
And then you answered it.
Oh.
So I'm just
Oh,
throwing it
that.
out there like if you wanted to turn your sound off. So if it does ring, it doesn't ring during the meeting.
Done.
Yeah.
Alright, adjusted
He's
this.
like, what are you talking about? No, it's not. What are you talking about?
Did the time in the pinned post in
Discord.
fuck yeah did the time change on the pinned post in Discord from 6 a.m. to 12
I'm logging in right now. I will let you know.
Where's it at?
in the in-game
Current time,
channel.
6 o'clock.
Cool.
You talking about the calendar?
Yeah.
Yep.
It says 6.
It's at 6 o'clock.
Correct.
So I'm assuming that is AM.
Oh yeah, if it was PM, it'd be 18.
Maybe we have to keep pinned.
That's not a character. That's not something your character would say.
He's not talking in
I'm not
chat yet.
talking in
That's
character.
in game.
Here, whenever I talk out of character, I'll talk in a southern accent, and then you'll know it's not Cinder.
Oh my god.
Right? I'll do an accent when out of character. Or not in character.
I'll just show the link to the calendar and then I'll pin that. If you guys want to even look at the time. It's whatever. Okay.
You already told me the time. It's in the notebook that I have that I left at home.
Well, I mean the calendar.
Are you
so
leaving
it
things
shows
at home when you have a bag of
it says
holding?
Fuck on the 9th.
Because I was carrying it around to look
Oh,
at it and
wheels.
work on it during my lunch breaks,
Okay.
and then I didn't, and I left it
It doesn't update the time, but I know the date.
somewhere.
It's actually it's the 15th of Wheelsun. I'm not sure why it's not updating, but so the start date is the 15th of Wheelsun.
Is this still applicable? The money.
Yeah, but in this current area, it uses like the Calisandrian currency.
Okay.
So normal.
Yeah, Calcendra.
That I
Because
would be familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I like Cinder has the conversion chart because of the Sormirian blooms.
Yeah.
Not that she uses them, but it's been a long time since
Why are you
she's
staring at me like?
used any.
And
money.
so technically, world-wise,
I
this
know
area
what that
actually does have its own currency, but I did not create it. So we're just gonna
Who
use
has their own currency?
the free cities. So. Okay.
I imagine maybe they
It has
just
to
use
be like
everybody's.
universal.
Yeah,
though.
well, maybe they just use all the different currencies,
They meant their own.
Do they
but
not?
they're free.
That's not how that works, but
They're
okay.
free of those monetary obligations.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I want it, you get it.
I mean, you could also argue that a free city would use all the different coins
Well, I mean,
because
You'll find
like
all
going
of
to
them
Canada.
there.
Well, because normally coins are to represent a ruling class of some sort of central ruling figure,
Well, I mean, a
and
nation,
so maybe the people don't believe in that.
even city-states, have to mint their own currency.
Such a free city, I'm gonna go in and be like, I want this
They
city.
just wouldn't put a king or queen on it. So,
Wow.
okay.
I'm sure someone will be able to work some family crest on there somewhere.
Right?
Okay.
Like, oh, this is a symbol to the city.
Yeah, the city. Why does it have a deer on it? Isn't that your sign? What are you talking about? The
What is that?
city.
That's not a deer.
It's not a deer.
That's a freedom deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a buck that demonstrates freedom, like a bald eagle.
A year later, there's Civil War. I'm like, yeah, we're the ruling city. We have our crest on the money.
Okay.
Why do all the guards have deer on them? I don't know.
Last call for anything.
Coke.
I'll take a Pepsi.
Yes, please.
I'm good. I have my jello shots, I have my wine, I have my coffee, I have my water, I have my cider, I got my grapes, and I have my eggs that are thawing out. I'm good.
Fucking frozen.
Fucking frozen eggs.
Oh yeah, get me 2 Jello shots too.
Yeah, me too.
What one?
It doesn't matter.
Someday I do want to make quail deviled eggs.
Also, if I decided to visit.
I found a recipe on making deviled eggs out of quail eggs. I just have to find somebody that sells
Just slide
quail.
it closer to me.
You have a heating pad, Ben. Turn it on.
This is a heat source.
Yeah, it'll get really warm in here real quick.
Then don't burn yourself on that.
Pretty soon we're gonna have to turn the fan
It's
on.
off.
Oh, okay.
It
Sorry.
is off.
I thought it was
just
on,
don't
and I'm
know-
like,
I'm giving him all the residual heat.
Yeah. I just imagine him moving his blanket and it just like laying over the heater.
Ben, pretty soon we're gonna have to turn the fan on.
You know what you guys need? You need one of those little mini
Don't
fireplaces.
you threaten me.
We have torch
Would you?
points on it.
It's over here.
Oh.
For the heater?
Why is it never on?
Huh?
Why is it never on?
It's always on.
Oh,
It just not today.
you need a better one. I always see
Do
this
you need
thing
some
on.
crackers or anything, Jared?
Mm-mm.
Do you need gel shots?
Okay, I'm sitting down.
Okay, sit down. Your hostess duties are done.
I need the can.
So
That'll be 2 gold each, thank you.
I have no.
Except for you, sweetheart. Yours is on my head.
I'm sorry. I don't follow monetary
Yeah,
well in
I need
game.
beans.
There it is.
Thank you for your donations.
I need a little nugget.
Nugget?
I don't know where he's at. Beans.
We're ready to start?
I'm gonna call him Nugget.
It was not nugget.
It's nougat.
Yes, we're ready to start.
Hey Google, change the garage lights to 50%. Wow, that was a slur.
The garage lights to 50%.
Too many Jello shots.
No.
Not enough jello shots.
Hey Google, turn off game light 1.
Okay, good.
Are you getting it?
There we go.
Actually, can you turn off the one that's pointed towards the computer as well? Or the...
Yeah, hey Google, turn off game light 2.
Maybe just turn them all off.
Turn them off?
Yeah, like not all of those ones.
Yeah. Okay. Hey Google, turn off the game lights.
I just realized that like this one is just like glaring right here.
No.
There we go.
Okay.
What? I'm gonna turn and look for.
It's dark.
Turn your thingy towards you. It's bendable.
This is our normal lighting in here.
I have to get up.
Oh, well, I guess you don't care that much and it's not bothering you that much.
It's bendable.
What?
Alright. So, at a perfumed arcade known as the Emporium, Governor Mayor Lanod Neff rubs shoulders with common laborers awaiting an appointment in the veiled corridor. In an adjoining antechamber, snakes and exotic dancers gyre to sonorous weaves of cymbals and seductive pipes. A floor below, a gaggle of grasping miners presses against a windowed door to a darkened cell, impatient for a glimpse of a two-headed calf. Out in the street, a gang of rowdies screams obscenities at a crumpled halfling, kicking it as if scrambling for a ball. Their drunken laughter echoes off shuttered windows and bolted doors. In a tower-flanked fortress across the shadowy square, filthy men with nothing to lose shout hymns to St. Cuthbert, clutching to their idealism and principles like cornered animals. Their wild-eyed chief minister smiles as he draws a cat o' nine tails across his bare back, awash in their adulation and the spirit of his god. But it's just another night in Diamond Lake. You have all come here for your own reasons, for your own missions, I guess, and you've heard of a job that you've all decided to take. This is how we're going to start. You guys know the mission that's been assigned to you is to travel with this gentleman who's identified himself as Connor Montgomery into the Whispering Cairn, and he will pay you 200 gold pieces each for the completion of the exploration of the cairn to bring back whatever you can find. You have decided to meet in an establishment in the town square called Lazar's. This is a fine establishment, kind of a middle class, fine woods. The smell of cigar and pipe smoke kind of infuse the area. The tables, instead of being dining tables, are covered with dragon chess sets, and patrons talk quietly here. And you were told to meet this young patron of yours, Connor, at Lazar's. And in fact, who would be the first to arrive in the door?
Clarification.
Yeah.
Haven't we already met Connor for the interview for the job? Or
probably, yeah. At least in passing. Yeah, I would assume that you guys have at least gone to Aliston, the wizard's house, and like responded to the.
Was it put up by Allison or Alliston or by Connor?
Technically Connor, but Alliston's paying. So
Okay.
Connor would be the leader. So you've learned just briefly through very brief conversation that Alliston wants the job done, but he's leaving all the details and the doing of it to Connor.
Okay.
So, but he's funding it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I imagine that Cinder would have probably been the last to arrive because I've come from the furthest. But I imagine that she, upon hearing of it, had gone to Connor and basically told him she was going to be in this current cairn and that he could accept her as part of his group for safety in numbers or not. But in lieu of money, she would want the questions from Alliston.
Okay.
And that was something me and Ben had talked about before, but
yeah.
But yeah, I would imagine that this is after everything's all been set up though, right?
Yeah. You're meeting in Lazar's to assemble the team and then decide the plan of action. Okay.
Yeah, Cinder would also be there early.
Okay.
I did not knowing who Valeth is though, she's probably not sitting anywhere near her or anything.
All right. So
and this is this is like a game mean play day.
Yeah, it's like a lounge tavern. Yeah. So it's I'll get to the description when we get in there. So Connor, you've chosen a table that would accommodate at least 5 individuals, and you're waiting fairly patiently. It is in the middle of the afternoon. You've been in Lazar's probably several times, having basically grown up in Diamond Lake. Lazar is a middle-aged man who, with his pulled back black hair and a very well manicured mustache, kind of gives you a smile and a nod, being very familiar with you. As a matter of fact, you might have even played dragon chess against him. And you know that, again, I'll reiterate, you know that he's a Free City champion. He's a regional champion of dragon chess. He's very, very good. And he asks if you would like to get anything started. He actually kind of inquires about, like, who are you waiting for? Is there anybody in particular that we can accommodate? Any special guests?
I have hired a group of people to accompany me on a job.
Oh, a job? I don't want to pry, but what are you doing? Anything interesting? Something in the mines again?
Something a bit more dangerous.
That sounds interesting. Well, you know, the smartest man in Diamond Lake, Alliston, if he has a job set out, then it's got to be really interesting. Probably some interesting wizard stuff that I don't understand. Want me to get you anything started, young man?
I'm not sure of everyone's taste, so I'll wait till they arrive.
Alright.
Oh shit, I forgot I was gonna do an accent.
You know, not to
I'll be doing an accent.
not to alarm you or anything, and I don't want to cause any trouble or anything, but you know, your uncle Lanod, you know, the governor mayor, that's Alliston's brother, is the mayor. He says, you know, I heard that the mayor and his boys have been kicked out of the captain's blade, so he's not too thrilled about that. So maybe if you see him, give him a little bit of berth. I know he has a bit of a temper,
That's
especially.
no surprise there, and thank you for the tip.
Yeah, I know he hasn't always been kind to you, but I guess he's doing the best he can. So, well, anyway. Well, I wish you luck, I guess. And he leaves you to it, and you sit down at your table, and a few, maybe 5 minutes later, you see a couple of guardsmen, and you can identify them because they wear a very particular set of like dark leather, kind of like a blue-dyed leather armor, and they have kind of a ruddy, dirty red sash over to identify them as guard. This is the Diamond Lake Guard. Two rough individuals kind of come in. Even from 30, 40 feet away, you can smell the alcohol on them during even like noon. And they look a little rowdy already. And Lazar kind of gives them a long look and kind of gives you a look like, these are your uncle's boys, like, careful. And he's congenial with them. You know, he hasn't seen. They're loud. The patrons in here are quieter. They're playing chess, cards. They're gaming. They're having quiet, sometimes philosophical conversations. And these two rowdy men that come in here kind of upset that status quo. Anyway, so you're waiting for your companions.
And these are my uncle's kids?
No, these are your uncle's men. He's the mayor. These are the guard. They answer to him. Yeah. And so, just as a little bit of character about your uncle, he has always seemed to disdain you, to despise you. He never understood why Alliston adopted you, and he has never really treated you with any kind of particular kindness. He's never been overly cruel to you.
Okay.
He's never been cruel to you, but like physically, but you can tell he does not like you. And Alliston and his brother are cold at best, but seem to be loyal to each other. So the family dynamic with the Neffs are kind of complicated. But
Adopted uncle.
no, he's adopted.
That's what I mean. His
Yeah.
adopted uncle.
Yeah. So uncle, and yep, yeah, adopted uncle. A few moments later, Tobin and Valeth, you have traveled the 3 and some change days from the Free City all the way up the Golden Road, all the way up past. You actually had to pass by one of the smaller roads that led off to your home village of Erie, but it doesn't pass through the town. It goes close, and as you pass this sign, you can see that the name Erie and the sign itself is kind of partially bent and not been repaired. There's a bit of damage, and as if like the upkeep to the sign pointing to where Erie is hasn't been updated and repaired in a long time. So you're still not really sure of the fate of the village after all these years, but as you pass by and begin to climb into the hills, you eventually reach within sight of Diamond Lake, and it is a town that sits on a massive, farther than I can see, like horizon lake that probably once would have been very beautiful were it not for the gushing fumes, the reddish brown red fumes. If you guys can pan the map closer to the middle of the map. If your controller's going to turn off or not.
Just keeps wanting to turn off.
Yeah, so you guys would have come from the left side of the map, but you can see these gushing fumes coming from a warehouse complex as you enter the town proper. You grew up around these parts. You're very familiar with Diamond Lake, but in no living memory has the lake been unpolluted, and so what were probably once very beautiful, like blue waters, are now kind of a muddy red, and there's thick red-brown smoke that's spewing into the air and pumping all the shores of Diamond Lake are brown and dead. Most of the town is grass and grassland. It looks like desert on the map, but it's actually grass that's just died, that can't thrive because of the pollution from the smelting houses. Yeah, and as you come over the crest and look across this maybe beautiful manor, your eye automatically catches, about perched up on a hill about 100 feet in the air, is the Neff Manor, the Governor Mayor's Manor, which you know very, very well. It kind of lords literally over all of Diamond Lake, and it's always been kind of a weird spot for the Vasari family, a weird site, because the Vasari family have never gotten along with the Neffs. And the Vasaris are fairly competent and powerful in their own right, politically. But yeah, the Neffs are not great people. So, with the exception of maybe Alliston. But anyway, so you make your way through town, following the lead in which you have, which I did not physically write, but you have the physical letter, right? Which is where you heard about this job being offered, paying a lot of money, and just to kind of move things along, you meet very briefly and discuss it, and then you'll meet at Lazar's, which you know exactly where it's at. Lazar's is right. You guys need to turn on your pans. Hang on a minute. Turn on your pans.
So we haven't kind of interviewed for this job yet.
Interviewed.
Responded, I guess.
Yeah.
Me and Jesse had kind of come up with this whole
Yeah.
idea of he had interviewed all these different adventurers and stuff, And
I
I
think that we've done that,
Yeah.
and then now at various locations, maybe instead of one isolated place, and so there might have been a couple of different like.
Yeah, my whole thing was like I don't know what you guys had come up with, but when you're meeting at Lazar's, you've already been chosen through whatever, like you've been hired,
Got
and
it,
you're
okay.
meeting here for the first time. So if there was an interview process and anything interesting happened in that interview process,
we had just jokingly been coming up with NPCs who had interviewed and not gotten chosen
oh sure,
while we were waiting
Yeah.
during the
So I don't think any of us would have necessarily met, but I can imagine Bailiff being like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're not the one with the weird nose." Oh god, I interviewed with that guy and he was awful. I think and Bailiff probably didn't really interview so much because she's family friends with Connor.
Mhm.
Right.
Um,
Kind of like I got the job right.
like
She got the job in other ways.
like can we just skip the interview and just
Well,
go drink?
Yeah, so as you're making your way through the town square, oh, and I've got to show you, Lazar's is right. Can you see my cursor?
Yes.
Okay, that's Lazar's right here. Anyway, as you're making your way through this the town center, on your way with Coben to,
Who's sitting there?
I'm not.
I don't know who it is. I'm pretty sure it's Kobe.
It's right there.
Somebody hitting the.
I was trying to move it more centered, and then it suddenly started just moving all the way back over there.
Oh, that red controller, sometimes the little right thing, you kind of have to flick it to get it out of a weird. So it might.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is the worst one for me to have then.
Picked it.
No one told me it was a dud.
It works. It's just
I literally am the person
I'm-
that's going to be doing the map the most. I
I'm
guarantee it.
used to it, so I didn't think of it. So, anyway,
I fiddle with this map all the time.
as you're making your way across the town center, you spot a familiar face.
So does that.
And he is dressed in splint mail, sorry.
He's got a seam up his head.
Yeah. And he. Hold on, let me. A handsome young man, red hair, shorn sides. Immediately, Coben, you recognize the family resemblance. And he kind of gives you a wave from about 20 feet away, and kind of gives cocks his head for a moment, almost like he waved at you, oh, it's my sister, but he's like, is that my sister? And then he walks quickly toward you with his arms out as if to hug you.
I open my arms.
He gives you a big squeeze, and he whispers in your ear, I don't have any more bribing authority in this town, so whatever you've done, I can't do anything about it. And then he chuckles to himself.
Oh, Tobin. How the hell are ya?
Fine. What do you...
I'm here for a job.
A job?
Yeah. Employment. Aren't you proud?
What kind of job?
I'm working with Connor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
What are you doing?
I was kind of fuzzy on the details. He has a thing he needs me to do, a place he needs me to go. I don't think that there's any, it's good money, but bored.
Yeah. Sounds completely legal and above
It is
board.
completely legal. I would never.
Oh, hey, Coben.
Oh, yeah.
You recognize Tobin from your time in the militia training. He's also a member of the army. It's the Free City Militia, but he's a soldier. So, you know that the soldiers here the soldiers of the Free City have a presence in Diamond Lake. They're not the true authority, but they often butt heads with the local guard. They do not see eye to eye.
Guards, much fuckwads.
The militia you know here are led by priests of Hieronius, which is a god of justice and valor and righteousness. And oftentimes that kind of comes through in the way that they handle people with dignity and respect, which is generally a good thing, but the guards don't often see it that way.
The hell out of you.
They tend to also be a little bit more uptight. So, but either way, yeah.
The army, not the guards.
The guards, the army is a little bit more uptight. They're a little bit more anal retentive about, certain things.
They're lawful.
They're lawful, yeah, sure.
That's
But
the wait. Okay. So
generally,
the army is the free city, and the guards are the local.
so generally the army is well tolerated and liked, but they don't have a lot of authority.
Right.
Yeah, they're here for national security, so they're here just in case, lizard folk.
Diplomatic
Yeah.
appearances.
It's a Hagen.
So wait, why are you here?
Oh, I've been here for about 6 months now. I was stationed here. This is where I'm at now.
Huh.
Okay.
So like you've probably seen Connor a couple times.
Maybe. Not important. Anyway, no, I technically asked to be in this area because I'm closer to Mom, because she's only a couple days to Blackwall, so I figured in case anything, happened, or, you're more likely to see him. And besides, the rest of the family is, down the road, so it's kind of nice to be home. And,
I should probably go check in.
I mean,
Maybe not.
they won't be expecting you either way. I mean,
Well, I've got other things. I've got
he's
this job
busy.
to do.
Mom and Dad aren't even there. Like, Braden's busy.
Oh, really?
Mom and Dad are at Blackwall.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, Brayden's fine.
so he's busy. I mean, Teresa's, free city. So, as you know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I just came from her. She's doing great.
So.
Always.
How, he gets kind of quiet. How are you?
I'm fine.
You're
I'm
good.
Fine. I'm so good.
Yeah, well, I was wondering about that because, to be honest, we've seen some of this stuff here in the streets of Diamond Lake, too, and I just wanted to make sure that you're not gonna...
have no idea what you're talking about, Tobin. I am fantastic, and I'm just excited to, do this favor for Connor, take a little money, and then I will be on my way again, top of the world.
Top of the world. Mm-hmm. Alright, well, that's...
And Coben's gonna help me. Right, Coben?
Sure. You're gonna help her what? With the job?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you're gonna stay away from it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I don't have anything to worry about, I guess, right?
Right.
Full trust and transparency. Right? That's the Visari way. Never any secrets or lies between us. Anyways, this gotta go. Love you so much. I think Connor's at Lazar's. So.
Well, I would hope so.
I mean, I don't know. I heard. I wasn't. I wouldn't know. Okay, bye.
Hi.
Oh, and it kind of gives you a nod. Bye.
God, brothers.
Who was that?
That was my brother,
Tobin.
Tobin. And his military twin, Coben.
Yeah.
So we're practically like siblings.
Okay. Gonna be lovers.
Rude. I'm a great sister. Just ask any of my siblings. Anyway, we go.
Sound very great.
Coben, can you make me a perception check, please?
Hopefully you're making him beat me. I haven't memorized my scores yet.
Connor was totally not wistfully watching from the window.
15?
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the establishments that you walk by a sign with a painted, mangy-looking dog with fleas kind of pouring off of it. It says the feral dog underneath it. The door hangs open, and it is a rowdy tavern, even in the middle of the day. You would think that with all the workers, the miners being in the mines now, the remaining citizens wouldn't be so rowdy, but they are. These people do nothing but either drink or work or both at the same time sometimes. And you catch a glimpse of a very familiar figure through the open door of the feral dog. It is a shirtless orc. And you recognize this orc in particular because it has a very distinctive palish blue greenish skin, and he's mottled with scars and creases and huge thick tusks. And you recognize him. This is Krogar. This is the individual in the Free City that gave you your lovely scar across your face.
Did you say orc?
Orc.
Sounds like
I
somebody I
probably
should
give
flirt
him a
with.
couple too.
Oh, I was just gonna throw out there too. We might want to have people describe their characters
Oh,
and
sure.
introduce them
Oh, sure.
Like,
Yeah.
like I don't
for
know who
the
that is.
for the
For
recording.
the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's
Yeah. That's Tobin. Yeah, I was kind of gonna go when we got together, but
Okay. Either or. I was just gonna throw it out there because,
Yeah.
like, yes.
just so people can visualize. Totally. Yeah. It does make sense. Yeah.
But we can do that when we get to the tavern.
So, you just see him. He seems to be sat on a stool. His back is to the door, and he seems to be in some sort of loud conversation with a couple of other rowdy-looking individuals. You just make a note that he's there. He's in Diamond Lake, of all places to be. And yeah. And do you do anything?
No.
15's
Not my concern.
15 is pretty good. In one of the alleys, right next to the feral dog, a little back alley, if you will, you see a minx, sort of tabby-looking cat. It's kind of big, almost like a Maine Coon minx kind of cat, that sat kind of very kind of properly. It doesn't look dirty. It doesn't look like a mangy or like a stray or anything like that. It just sits very properly, very clean, and it's just kind of staring at you two. And then it kind of goes off into the alley as it makes eye contact with you, and it disappears into the alley.
Friend of yours?
No.
Alright, so as you guys make your way into Lazar's, the polished double doors, as they open, reveal to you that kind of sweet smell of old, pipe smoke. You smell wine and beer, and it's a generally, pleasant smell compared to the streets, which are not very often washed. Only the rain really washes them, and it's just beginning to be fall, and so haven't gotten a lot of rain, and so the streets right now are just dirt, packed dirt, but there's a lot of garbage. There's a lot of chamber pots that haven't been washed away. The streets stink pretty badly, but inside Lazar's there's been an attempt to kind of keep that at bay. And so it's kind of a nice, inviting interior. And you see Connor in the corner. And you,
I'll sneak up to him.
okay, make a stealth check versus his passive.
Oh, I can't make a perception check.
It would be
Because
passive.
you don't know she's there.
Yeah.
That's a 21.
That would be his passive, yeah.
So,
Your passive
Oh, I like-
perception is 11, right, Connor?
Oh, damn.
Just-
Yeah. Oops.
Okay.
and I
guess I could have
will
gotten your.
sneak around behind the table he's at
Mhm.
and just, you know, hands over his eyes. You smell like my brother.
What? What? No, I don't.
Well, not at this rate.
Hi. Yeah.
I just shrug and sit at the table.
All right. So scene fades. We'll come back there here very briefly.
Can you not smack so loud? Please.
We're good.
I know.
It's gonna be.
It was in my ear.
Yep. Okay. Envy. Envy Ebengard.
Yes.
Okay. So the trek to Diamond Lake, you've made several times over your years growing up in the Twilight Monastery. This time, though, feels different. You have something you need to do, an important missive from the lady herself, which is a pretty big deal. So you are in your very Spartan living quarters, which you share with about 4 other individuals, which aren't there at the moment. The monks of the Twilight Monastery all dress in dark purple, blue robes. They don't look like Asiatic kind of monks, nor are they like Western friar priest type monks. They're just robed individuals. They lead a life of contemplation and non-violence away from society. The monks of the Twilight Monastery, as you know, have a strong affiliations with the goddess Seanine, or Farlongen, the god of travelers and the road. Sometimes even Coralon. Even though most of these monks are humans, there's a strong divine connection with the Seldarine, the elven deities, because the Twilight Monastery monks follow the movements of the moons, which are Lunae, Sele, and Drane, or you can say Luna, Sala, and Drana, right? So the 3 moons, and the stars, and Twilight, all that kind of stuff. So they're interested in divining the future, reading the patterns of destiny and fate in the world, and just being contemplative and peaceful. You are preparing your journey. The journey from the Twilight Monastery is about an hour and a half, so it's not very long. It's not very far from Diamond Lake. There's just one thing that you can't seem to find. You have your bags packed, and you have everything ready, but you cannot find Starlight. So you need to look for him.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll me an insight check.
It's not the time to be hiding. I got a 12.
Okay. And normally, a creature about the size of your forearm would be easy to spot, but you know that Starlight can, in fact, turn invisible, and sometimes does, for reasons unexplained. Although Starlight is an intelligent creature, it is not like a dog or a cat. It doesn't have that kind of emotive personality, and in order to read Starlight, you have to kind of read its colors, its moods, right? With that, you said you got 12 for insight. You stop and you think to yourself, he's been very yellow lately, which you think might mean playful. You haven't quite decoded all of his colors. He's just started to show more colors. It's pretty obvious, though, when he turns a green that he's hungry. You've learned that. Green is hungry, but other colors start to show up and you're just learning them. And just as you think to yourself that, you see just the faintest little flickering yellow coming from underneath your very Spartan bed, coming like kind of illuminating the darkness down below.
Now, do they like respond to like being like talked to, or do
you know that Starlight can understand Common because that's what you speak, and it can understand any language that you speak.
But he just responds by a color, roughly.
Yeah, he can't talk or emote with his face or anything like that. I mean, kind of, but he's not very good at it. He's still juvenile. He's not very good at it. So.
Okay, so I guess I will playfully like go up and be like, I wonder where he could be. Kind of like
the light kind of flickers a little bit.
Kind of like walk towards the bed and then like I quickly pop under like, there you are. Kind of like.
All right. So as you kind of peek under the bed and you see Starlight kind of curled up and attached to the bottom of this hay mattress, the light quickly goes out as if to hide from you, but clearly he can't, and also you can see in the darkness. And his head kind of slowly turns to you, and he seems to be chewing some sort of vegetable or debris that he's picked up off the side of the mattress, and then just kind of blinks yellow real fast and slowly comes down and kind of toddles over to you as a caterpillar would.
Yeah, sorry, like I put up my arm and let him crawl up my arm.
Yeah, he's about as big as your forearm and about as long. So he starts to crawl up. He kind of makes brief eye contact with you, kind of flashes yellow, and then just returns to his normal kind of bluish tint. So he seems content to just kind of crawl up your arm and just kind of sit there for a moment. Every once in a while, you'll get flashes of random color kind of out of the corner of your eye. He makes small noises, but they're more like, but you're not really sure if it's vocalizing or like it's rubbing. He's making some sort of noise with his body, but it's hard to read, but yeah. He seems to have responded, and he's with you again.
Yep, we got a small little adventure going. Gotta go to town.
Yeah. He when you mentioned going to town, he glows a very bright, like green. Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll eat before. So.
Yeah. So you gather your things, you make your trek out of the monastery. The monks pay you no mind. Monks go in and out all the time. As a matter of fact, everybody here kind of sticks to themselves. They kind of mind their own business. You do look up. You're in the courtyard of the Twilight Monastery. In the courtyard, there is a large, flat glass or metallic mirror, which you know to be one of the scrying discs, or the scrying discs of the Twilight Monastery. And abutting it, off on the other side of the courtyard, is a large tower that kind of jets up into the sky. At the very top of that tower, is the mistress's tower, where she sits and where she does her readings and her communions. And you see her looking down at you from the top of this window. Her indigo-colored cloth kind of whipping against the wind and the open window. And she's wearing her mask as she usually is. It's this almost like the equivalent of like a glitter, like indigo blue face mask that covers her whole face. And you see her looking at you, and you can feel that look.
Does she always wear the mask?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually. You've seen her face, but she very rarely takes it off. Yeah.
Okay.
That's ceremonial. You see her looking at you, and you feel that weight of importance. You feel almost a sense of like, don't fuck this up. Like you've got something to do.
Yeah, like I feel the weight, but I not let like it like burn or get in the way of things. Or like
She just turns around and walks away from the window. Starlight flashes a kind of a yellow, like a mustard color, as he kind of peeks his head up and then watches her go, and then he slinks back down, and you make your way into the town of Diamond Lake, which you've been to. It's not the greatest place. And as soon as you enter, I think I asked you this out of game. Do people know where you're from in Diamond Lake?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I would want to make it like a point to like, I guess like, to be, I guess try to get like to know like the locals or like the regulars, I guess.
Okay, so as you're making your way into the town proper, many locals, very like flagrantly, they just stop what they're doing and they move out of your way. Many of them like avert their gaze. Some of them look on with a mix of like curious anxiety. You're given a wide berth, and people just generally are tense or anxious around you, knowing where you're from. Do you recall the history of the Twilight Monastery?
Vaguely, yes.
So about 5 years ago, some miners from Diamond Lake had come to the Twilight Monastery, had come to the mistress to ask some divining questions, as people do from around the area, and she refused to answer them. And the miners got violent, and the monks slaughtered all 16 of the miners and killed them. And every night on the anniversary, every night since then, the monks of the Twilight Monastery recite the names of the dead miners as if to remind themselves that these people are dangerous and we do not like them. And the town now is definitely afraid and terrified of the Twilight Monastery monks, because they're essentially a group of murderers.
Well, lucky for them, I'm not a monk.
Yeah, the town doesn't seem to want to distinguish that little fact, but it's not a like, you didn't do anything illegal, you know what I mean? Like it was in self-defense, but still, it's only been 5 years, and the town remembers. They remember that even the Sheriff Cubbin, who is the sheriff of the guard, does not deal with the Twilight monks. When they come to town for supplies, they could get away with murder, and the guards wouldn't touch them because they're so afraid of them. So, Bill.
Yeah, but I treat the wide berth or whatever, the the look, sort of the anxiety, and just
Okay.
I guess the new normal, but I put on a friendly face, I smile at people, look at me and wish them a good day.
Yeah, most people don't know what to do with that. A couple children kind of give you that smile, good day, and then parents will kind of pull them away, no, we don't talk to those people, stranger danger. Anyway, so then you meet up with Connor briefly, and then you are now making your way to Lazarus for the meeting.
Yes.
So, Cinder. When you first came to town, you had been on the road for a long time. Very long time. You've passed through the Calisandrian Empire, where you were met with Mostly indifference. Sometimes suspicion or curiosity. As soon as you pass through the Calisandrian Empire and into the Free Cities, through the Lion's Pass, Diamond Lake was actually one of the first settlements that you actually go through proper. You are met with bewilderment. In all the small fly speck settlements that are along the road here and there, you have not seen an elf at all. And when you get to Diamond Lake, you notice that it's obviously mostly humans, some halflings, a lot of dwarves, but you have not seen another elf, or Erenai, as you would call yourself. So most looks toward you are puzzling, like they hold you in awe, and you can probably understand why a lot of elves don't find themselves in Diamond Lake. The land here is so abused and disgusting, it assaults you, who's not even a druid. So, yeah, it's very difficult for you to even imagine the kind of abuses that the land is going through right now at the hands of like the smelting houses and mining and stuff. But there is actually, yeah, go ahead and make me an insight check.
An insight check.
Yeah.
Oh. That would be a 21.
You're not sure what it is about the area or the landscape maybe, but Diamond Lake sits on a fairly flat area with a huge lake, right, that goes off into the horizon. But all around Diamond Lake and all of the landscape around you, on a clear day, you can see just these jutting cliff faces, these hills. And you know, historically, that's where ancient cairns and burial sites can be found. But there's something about the landscape that just seems different. There's some sort of energy or presence, or there's definitely something in Diamond Lake that you can't quite put your finger on, but you feel it like below your feet. There's something in the earth in this area, and you can immediately kind of gather like, well, there's a reason why people settle here. There's something here, a lot older than the town. Some energy that draws them. Yeah, a lot older than the town can remember. But yeah, yeah. I mean, how would she navigate before she finds Connor and tells him the who what about what she's gonna do?
Well, I think that. So I imagine that she heard of Connor's expedition on the way here, or at least she hears about it shortly after she gets into town.
Yeah.
Like the looks and all of those things, she just kind of ignores. She just takes it in stride. It's at this point she's gotten a little bit used to it, I imagine. And then upon hearing of this expedition, she would immediately go there. She would just focus on that because that's what her mission is. Is for this, to explore this cairn. And the cairn that he's exploring is not underneath the city.
No, it's about 2 to 3 hours outside of Diamond Lake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she would focus purely on that.
Okay, so yeah, you've heard that this young gentleman Connor, is looking to put together a team, and you know that he lives in a wizard's house, whose name you learned to be Allison.
Yeah.
and you make your way there.
And I've heard that this Alliston answers questions, like as a diviner.
Yes. Yeah. He's the smartest man in Diamond Lake. And he answers questions for 20 gold a question. And you can tell by people's reaction, like it's clearly he's actually a wizard. He's not a charlatan, but you're not sure the value yet. You haven't, know, interacted with him in any significant way, but along the way, you move past the town square where you see, the feral dog and Lazars, and then off to the distance, on the other side of the square, you see a towering kind of 4-story stone cathedral with a very prominent red equal arm cross, stained glass window affixed to the front, to be a church of St. Cuthbert. Approaching you as you're making your way to Alliston's house through this kind of exit to the town square is a young man, another Aranai, probably Keith Onaran as well. Short blonde hair, very handsome features, very well dressed, does not look like he belongs as well. Like, you both look like fish out of water, dress wise, but his demeanor is a lot more. You can tell that he probably lives here in some regard. And as he meets your gaze, he says in Elvana, he says, "Are you lost? If you're looking for Moonmeadow, he's the other side of the town."
I have not heard of this Moonmeadow, but I am not lost. I am exactly as where the earth bids me to be.
So you are new to town. This is great. We just do not see our kind here. And,
I would imagine not.
well,
Who is Moonmeadow?
he is a mine manager here in Diamond Lake, and he is the only other Aranai besides
She raises her
myself.
eyebrow at this, and she kind of glances over towards the lake.
Yes, it may seem strange, but he has been here for well over 2 centuries before the lake itself was as it is now. It is myself, Moonmeadow, and 2 others, the only Aranai in this city. Perhaps you should stop by and meet us. We very rarely get any of our kind in this town. I believe that Moonmeadow would be thrilled to see another kin. But I don't want to bother you anymore.
Perhaps we will see. Do you know where Alliston?
Yes, I just came from, and he points up to a lovely, painted light blue house, like a cottage style. The grass is green, and the gardens are like thriving. It's a beautiful little property. It's just maybe 100 feet down the road. That kind of perched up on some little hill. So.
And when she replies to him too, I should have made a note. She responds to him in common.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
Elvana.
Elvana.
Yeah.
This Moonmeadow, you said that he's been here two decades or 2 centuries.
Yes. He was one of the first to settle.
Indeed, I will try to seek him out.
Well, I don't want to waste any more of your time. It was nice meeting you. And he says all this in common. You
Does he
realize
say his name?
He does not. No, he doesn't. He doesn't give you his name. If you would ask,
I don't ask, and I don't offer mine.
Yeah. And he kind of bows. Yeah. You get the sense that you might be seeing him again. So.
I nod my head to him.
I will show you.
And as soon as he walks away, like nobody would. Oh, yeah.
Maybe you didn't want to.
Oh, I don't know. But as soon as he walks away, like, anybody observing her closely would notice just a slight unclenching of her hand.
Oh.
Like a slight tension released.
Okay. Yeah. Suspicious. Anyway, this is.
Is he shirtless like that?
No. But, Brian, just for you, this is, your
Somebody
mistress,
wants to hit it and quit it.
Zalara.
Well, she's cool again.
Yeah, just like. That's what you see. Alright.
Her hitting and quitting is a little different.
Her hitting pudding is unconsciousness and anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I had to
Alice place. Yeah. And so you meet up very briefly with Connor, you go through that whole process.
I advise him that I will be joining him.
Yeah. Whether he likes it or not. Or you'll
I
be
mean,
going
he doesn't
there.
have to let me join him. I will see him there regardless.
Yeah. And we'll say in about like 6 hours from your initial meeting. So you're meeting like the first day. So now it's about 5-6 p.m. that you're meeting at Lazar's. Is when you're meeting together, and you walk into Lazar's. You see Valeth and Coben already there, and trailing shortly behind you would be Cinder. And this is where we can
What do we see?
introduce and describe your characters.
So I see. I walk up on Tobin and Bale talking.
No, you were already there.
Yeah, they met you there.
You've been waiting.
All right.
You're waiting. For
Yeah,
all
so
the
you
people
can
you've
describe
met
your
them all
character
before,
first.
technically.
Yep.
Congratulations.
So the young gentleman patron, what does Connor look like? Who is this mysterious gentleman that has hired these groups of individuals?
Connor is a young man with piercing dark eyes, black hair slicked back, and carefully groomed, close cut beard. Tan skin, and
For the audience, this is Connor.
and you can kind of tell that he's a wizard because he's always writing something down, and sometimes his spellbook is floating beside him while the spell writes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's clearly a magic user. Yeah. Okay. Valeth and or Coben, want to describe your characters? What's the first thing people notice? Besides the fact that she's hot.
Yeah, she's pretty hot. Valeth is a human. She has bright red hair, a family feature, so it's pretty easy to identify her kin. And she tends to wear a lot of darker, less attention-seeking garb. But she does have a tendency to have a loud personality. She's pretty small, but obviously pretty dexterous.
Does she have that tattoo on her face?
Not the one on her face, no.
Put the one on her throat.
Yeah. And yeah.
Okay.
Piercing green eyes.
Oh boy.
Coben.
Oh, Coben has a scar on his eye. That's obvious sighting. And then another unique feature, he has a double-bladed scimitar that was crafted from elves, it's different.
It's an elven make.
It's an elven make. She's got like a long, well, medium-ish brown hair with a stubble, and he's like in his mid to late 20s. Kind of big, not really that big, but he's wide. Yeah. I don't know. That's what stands out the most. Anyway.
Cinder, make a history check with advantage on that there scimitar, double-bladed scimitar.
It's your family missing heirloom.
15.
15? Although double weapons are not uncommon in Soromir, the elves tend to like flourish and dexterity. This particular one you have seen, not the trigger blade, but the style and the weapon. You've seen in the Bladesinger colleges that it is a very, very specialized type of weapon to be trained in, and you have never heard of one being in the hands of a human. It is not something that is allowed. Yeah. And one of the most one moment. What was one moment. I need to go through my notes. You know that the most famous Bladesinger is an Aranide named Aravan Sovalis.
Okay.
Also known as perhaps the Ferryman.
How mysterious.
Mysterious indeed.
How mysterious indeed.
Wow, that sounds like a weird moniker. The Ferryman.
Yeah.
Sounds like a dumb one.
Sounds dumb.
You're so dumb.
So, yeah. Just strikes you as interesting as why or how he came to his possession.
Indeed.
That kind of weapon. But you all have...
Description.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Coben, you're done with your description. Yep. Okay. Envy Ebengard.
You don't see me, I'm invisible.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, not to the audience.
Alright, so I come in and I am wearing white leather armor. I wear the white leather armor for traveling because I don't want to get too hot. I have a quarterstaff and a scimitar. I have medium to dark brown hair. And I have a caterpillar as a companion that rests on my shoulder.
Foot long caterpillar.
Yep.
That's adorable and that changes colors.
Yeah.
I walk in with a stride of not like shy or timid, just more of like, you know, I came here with this purpose, kind of like I have like a friendly aura, even though like the people want to give me
Even though everybody moves out of the way as soon as you walk in.
But, you know, I'm super... I give off the super friendly aura, and...
Yeah, as soon as you walk in those double doors, somebody drops, like, a chess piece. Just, like, kind of staring, and then they kind of pick it up, and things kind of go back to where they were. Yeah. There's an obvious uncomfortableness when she enters.
From them, not from them.
From them, yeah. Okay. Alright. So you're all sat around this table.
Describe a character yet.
Oh yeah, why is it you? It's you, I do. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wrote it out, so I'm just gonna read it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, after, she comes in, the door opens again, and a slender young woman, elven woman, stands in the doorway. She is tall and poised, and she walks, almost silently as she walks across the bar floor, calmly with her arms loose at her side. Black leggings peer beneath loose-fitted robes of white linen embroidered with intricate golden edges. And a sash of red and brown holds the garment in place, and the sleeves hang loosely over delicate, unadorned hands. The tight black shirt beneath the robe rises to her neck and is similarly embellished with the gold designs. Her features are fine and sharp, elongated ears and slanted amber eyes heralded. She has long golden hair that falls on her back, and the sides are shorn, and there's like a single braid down the top of her head. She carries no weapons save for like a worn traveling staff on her back, and a faded leather satchel at her side.
Okay.
She kind of glances around, looking for him.
Yeah. So Connor, your party has arrived. Just to refresh you as a player, your memory, Alistan has given you enough gold to pay everybody 200 gold apiece to travel into the Whispering Cairn, which is about less than a whole day's travel. It's not very far. It's a few hours. Part of the journey is going to be finding it exactly, but you're tasked in going in there, assembling a team. It's very important. Cairns can be dangerous. The Cairn Hills are littered with empty, now looted cairns, but often they're filled with traps or things that have moved in, or bandit hideouts. There could be anything inside of the cairn, so you never want to go alone. So he's tasked you with hiring some competent individuals, and through the past maybe day or so, you have gotten some inquiries, but you've chosen this team particularly for their competence. These are the most competent individuals that you've met, and so with that, you're tasked with going in, exploring it.
Am I getting paid as well?
I mean, he would pay you. I don't think he explicitly lists you as, an employee of doing it, but more like a manager of doing it. But
I'll just be adding that to my...
Well, you haven't been paid yet.
Yeah. You get paid up front.
Alright.
That's
What
just
if you
part of your
die?
expenses, Connor.
Yeah.
This is part of your training as an apprentice.
So
You pay him.
you need to go into the cairn, explore it, discover any kind of interesting, anything interesting that you find of historical value. In particular, he is really interested in the Dukes of Akkad. Anything on the Viati, ancient, near prehistorical entities that inhabited the area, or the material plane then. So he's really interested in that kind of stuff. But anything of historical value, anything. If you happen to find any kind of magical items, then that would be great to bring back to study or identify. But anything that you guys find in there, yours to keep. He is most interested in the historical significance. What is the Whispering Cairn? What is it? Who's buried there, if anybody? and he wants to know. Yeah, and so yes, you have your team assembled. You know that it's about a little ways northwest, about less than a day's journey northwest of Diamond Lake into the hills. This is your show. You're the employer.
I sit down.
So we're all at Lazar's.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
A lot of glances coming your way. A lot. In fact, there's some staring, but
A couple of the people that are staring, I like look at them and like,
yeah.
so.
So
I just imagine you guys do that at the same time too.
So,
So these are your people, Connor?
yeah. I don't know if you've all met before, but I selected you as the best out of all of the applicants and interviewees.
the large caterpillar on this
Oh,
woman's
that's what I was gonna ask.
shoulder glows a deep, deep blue. So,
Have I ever seen something like that before?
make a Arcana or Nature or Religion.
In our nature.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, you all can if you'd like.
Arcana.
Nope.
All exactly the same. The only one to trade in is
New to
history.
me.
Natural 20.
Okay.
Damn.
Nice. First one.
It looked Feywildish.
Yeah.
Do you want
You.
to text me to it or?
No. Cinder, you know exactly what this is, and you've never seen one in person because they are considered very rare and very sacred to the goddess Seinen. They are called, in the common tongue, Luna moths.
If I get a 17.
It's a giant caterpillar, obviously magical, and intelligent. You can tell it is you don't know what it is though, but you know that this is obviously the caterpillar before it turns into a moth. Obviously, they are said to be direct messengers of the goddess Seinen herself, and they bond with a person on the material plane to guide them along their travels, help them to their fates, their destiny. Very rare. They only breed, as far as you know, that natural 20 was stellar. They only breed in one place, and that's very near this general area, like the Cairn Hills, but they come from Sormir. So they travel and they migrate to this area of the Cairn Hills. As far as they like your history, your connection, your knowledge, they are said to have a strong elemental connection to air. But yeah, very sacred, and it's unheard of that one would have chosen a human of all people. They only chose like clerics of Seinen, which are elven, like true clerics of Seinen are elven. So, and mostly women. They favor women.
So, okay. But, and is it generally clerics of Seinen are elves or exclusively?
Almost exclusively.
Okay.
Of course, there's always exceptions to the
Yeah.
rules, but you have never heard of a cleric of Seinen not being an elf.
I imagine then, like, as I was approaching the table, like, and about to sit down and I see this Luna moth, she would, like, pause and I don't even think she'd be able to control like kind of her eyes widening a little bit. And she would address the moth. And she would kind of bow her head slightly to it. And I guess, greetings, daughter of Satan. And she would say that in Elvanen.
Okay. The caterpillar turns a deep red and kind of squishes back a bit. It doesn't make facial expressions, but it does kind of turn its head a little bit.
She also cocks her head.
Yeah. And just turns a red, and then kind of flickers to yellow, and then kind of dies down into its normal color. So.
And then she'd kind of glance at this one, who she doesn't know yet.
I'm still trying to understand his colors. I know yellow tends to be more playful, on the playful side of things.
Yeah, it turns yellow.
Green when he's hungry.
As she takes it, she would kind of, she wouldn't value, but she would take a seat.
And
you are blessed to be a companion of one.
Yeah, my apologies. My name's Envy.
I'm Cinder.
Nice to meet you.
You feel the back of your hair being pulled very, very hard as you realize that he is beginning to eat your ponytail.
I reach into my bag and bring out like a little snack.
Yeah. It will cost you 5 copper a day, as if it were like animal feed, to feed him the vegetables and leaves and other shit that he eats.
I bring out his favorite flower to eat,
Okay.
so he could be on his best behavior.
Okay.
You're like, here are some dandelions.
Yeah.
Be good. Or rose hips, probably.
Yeah, rose hips.
So yeah, just
flower.
For like the briefest moment, you get this like bright neon green, like almost blinding, and then it kind of fades, and then you just.
Can I make an insight to try to figure out what the red coloring was?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know him well, so.
Yeah,
but-
can I make one too?
Sure.
Because
Oh, I have no idea. 6. No idea what this color coding mood ring shit is.
inside 15.
15.
Shouldn't he roll with advantage?
It almost seemed like there was like anxiety or fear, but again, I'm gonna reiterate, like, these colors flash a lot. So as he's sitting there just eating, it'll be like green, and a little bit of yellow, then it'll turn blue, and then it'll just do a whole bunch of
Yeah, I
colors.
kind of figured it trembles like down his body.
Kind of, yeah, actually. Kind of like when an octopus or something changes color, kind of shifts through the whole form.
I imagine like the speakers. Like when you have sound speakers on,
Oh, yeah.
like a boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Yeah, so it shifts a lot, and so when Cinder addressed him, it did flash a very clear red, and he kind of put his head back a bit. It could have been anxiety, maybe stranger danger. You're not sure, but you've seen red before. But again, it's always brief. It's always exactly how a person would feel if we changed color. We're constantly feeling all the time. So yeah, and he's a juvenile. So, like, yeah. I mean, you could test. I mean, you could try to elicit responses, Or,
Possibly. Not here now.
yeah, so he's mowing on this beautiful white orchid. Just destroying this beautiful flower. It's kind of half hanging out of its mouth. And he's staring at you, just eating.
This is probably the quietest Connor or Coven has ever seen Bailiff, because she is just staring at this caterpillar.
Yeah.
She has no idea what it is, but it is the coolest fucking thing she's ever seen.
It starts flashing like undulating, like gold and yellow, like just flickering through its body as it's staring at you.
Can I feed it? What does it eat other than flowers? Does it eat other things?
It's a plant.
So any kind of plant? That's really cool. That is really cool. I've never seen a caterpillar that big.
His name is Starlight.
Starlight. Hi, Starlight. Nice to meet you.
Oh, campaign? Forget that. There's a fucking
It flashes red real quickly, and then it goes back to undulating that yellow gold.
I'm
Yeah.
Bailiff. Nice to meet you.
The red, yellow gold.
Yeah. And you.
Well-
I'm sorry, you said your name was Emmy?
Yeah, nice to meet you, Bela.
Yeah. You can call me Babe for short. Everybody else does. Hey, you. Red. Anyway. Mr. Silent here, this is Coben.
Coben?
Yeah. He's not much of a talker. He's really good at hitting things, though.
Okay. More of a fighter then.
I mean, in a lion.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
It's Coben, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or Cinder doesn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
She does. I think you would catch her eyeing your scimitar for a moment.
He gets that a lot.
Kind of cocks her head a bit, but she doesn't say anything.
So what's the plan, Connor?
So we go to the cairn and
But did we discuss price?
I think we've all been offered
200 gold after returning the completion of it.
Anything up front? Sorry, I'm still staring at the caterpillar.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
payment on completion of task.
Is something getting thrown at him?
God.
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm gonna snatch it out of the air.
Dexterity saving throw of 10.
10. Okay, that's not very good. You make a dexterity saving throw now.
Oh,
As the person with the next highest perception to even see it happening.
Uh-oh.
Dexterity saving throw?
Or whatever you use to catch things.
Oh, okay, that's
It's not explicitly being thrown, but it would
I
apply.
have +5 to my saving
it
throws.
would be then.
That's nice.
So she could use catch missile.
Yeah, whatever she would use. I'm going by passive perception, so you notice it, like, in time.
So I would use my reaction
Okay.
to deflect or catch the missile when you are hit by a ranged weapon attack. When you do so, the damage you take from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus 7. If you reduce it to 0, then I can use a key point to throw it back.
Okay. So,
So I use my reaction.
Yeah, you just use reaction. You notice that as you're making introductions, Starlight has finished eating the orchid and has very slowly started making its way down and across the table, very, very stealthily. For it's amazing actually how big this creature is, how well it has eluded all of your attention, and has knocked a glass off of the table, probably by accident, maybe. And you've caught it in time, and Starlight turns a very bright red and kind of begins to scurry back up onto Envy's shoulder and just remains a very beautiful blue.
I need to be embarrassed.
It stays blue.
She just kind of sets the glass on the table, but she does it all like with like her eyes, like as they're talking and stuff. Like her eyes just slowly like tracing the caterpillar, and then just like with a toddler you would, and then just sets it back. It's awesome.
See, be quite playful.
Well,
I think it might be still hungry.
yes. Aside from that,
Great.
great catch, by the way. We'll be exploring the cairn and discovering if there's anything that I might be looking for.
What are we looking for?
What are you looking for?
He explains, he goes through the list of what to be on the watch for, and signs of Viati, and I forget.
Yeah, you're keeping your eye out for
History on the Dukes.
Yep, history on the Dukes of Akka.
Yep.
So, you know that the Viati were an ancient elemental primordial race that ruled pretty much the material plane before, probably even elves, if not at the same time. So, which is tens and thousands of years old. So, yeah, they're very, very ancient. Not a lot is known about them, but they're not like the ancient Therans who came later than the Viati. But the Therans vanished, and people still don't know what the Therans even physically look like. So they're the really mysterious group or civilization. But the Viati are known but obscure. So
yeah, anything like that.
Information then.
Yes.
But objects can be kept.
Within respect to the judge.
Of course.
I don't need it.
Though they do tend to get angry when you take them.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, if they tend to get angry, then that just means they haven't been put to rest yet.
Nothing that looks too sentimental.
When do we leave?
it is 6 p.m. now.
So wait, does that mean we have the night to settle in? Enjoy.
Or are we leaving this evening?
Is that up to me?
You're the boss.
You're the boss, and you're the group. You're not you, but
How far away? How long of travel? Oh, I guess I can ask this in character. How long will it take to reach the camp?
You said a few hours, right?
Well, that's the thing. You don't know its precise location, but it is less than a day's travel, and by a day's travel, it's like eight hours. So less than 8 hours. But you're not really even sure exactly where the cairn is. It was just recently rediscovered 3 years ago by a group of teenagers, so it can't be more than a few hours away. But that's why Allison wants to get in there before people really get in there. You know. So you're gonna have to spend some time trekking and trying to find it at least. Yep.
Sounds like a tomorrow trip then.
Good.
Or a late tonight trip so we can get there first daylight and find it.
It would be preferable to leave tonight. We might need to get direction from the teenagers who found it.
So you do not know yet where it is?
Not precisely, no.
Where are the teenagers?
Oops.
Pretty good at getting information.
Wasn't on the gameplay stream, but just stuck on the starting soon. Screen the whole time.
But the audio was playing?
Yeah. Everything was recording. But,
I mean, it's
whatever.
It's fine.
Yeah. Now you guys
I
can
guess
full
they didn't
screen
see
it again.
you go like this over the characters then.
No, sure didn't. No. So somebody can full screen it again.
I don't don't know which button to push because I changed things.
Yep, that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know one of them. I changed from the PlayStation to an Xbox controller.
It's on middle left.
Yeah.
So, where are the teenagers that we need to question?
I mean, they're around. I mean, you don't have any specific names of anybody that, you know, discovered it. It's more like, oh, I heard a bunch of teenagers found a cairn, you know.
I would imagine that with the willingness to put money into it and everything, you probably have a general idea. They probably just don't have an exact location.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like you invested all of this and created a whole trip, and you don't even know where it is.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a general, like I said, it's northwest of here. Yeah.
We just don't know because you haven't been there exactly where we're headed.
Right.
But once we get close enough, you'll be able to find it fairly easy.
Okay.
There is no road, but you have a direction to general time. So.
Let's kind of retcon that and get going.
Okay.
You are wishing to go there and then camp.
Yes.
Well, that's a dumb idea. But you're the boss.
We want to be first on site.
Are there others that might be coming?
You have heard there is another group of seasoned adventurers that did not take your job offer up, but they are in town. There are 5 of them. And they are themselves, you have heard, heading into a cairn called the Sturge Nest Cairn. But news travels fast, so you don't know if they know about the Whispering Cairn or not. But you haven't met these individuals, but you've heard of them. They tend to stick around the feral dog.
There might be some competition.
Well, that's all you had to say. Let's go.
Cinder stands up.
Yep.
Ready to go. Gear to get.
There.
Yeah.
If we might walk behind a little, I would like to speak with you.
Who do you suggest will lead then? We could give you a moment of privacy.
Bailiff, if you would walk ahead with me a little.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Cinder will hang back and then pretend that she can't hear things from up there.
You can totally tell that I am 100% used to leading a crew.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's a
100%.
natural thing for you.
It's very, like, ingrained.
I love it.
Yeah.
Bailiff, walks with you up the front of the... What's up, boss?
I noticed you speaking with Tobin.
Yeah, he is still my brother. Have you talked to Tobin lately?
A bit.
Yeah.
What were you guys talking about?
Well, I guess he, finally shacked up with this, really cute guy that he is bunked up with in the barracks, and, I think they're gonna get married and have some babies, and...
You all notice, the rest of you notice that Starlight is turning a deep purple and staring at Bailiff.
Very funny. I'm laughing on the inside.
No! Dodo, he just asked, what I was doing here, because no one knows I'm in town. Except for you, because, I'm working for you, boss. And, told him that I was working with you, and he asked how you were.
He did?
You might have. I don't recall. It's all kind of fuzzy. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. God, you guys are ridiculous.
Does
What?
it change?
What?
It's always kind of changing, but it keeps going back to that purple.
While it's staring at her.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You're adorable. But yes, that's all we talked about. He's stationed here. He's been stationed here for a while. You guys, maybe when we get back from this adventure, we can all go have celebratory supper or drinks.
Yes, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, to celebrate me being back in town. And I can introduce you to mine and Tobin's friend. Well, I mean, you've met Tobin, but you can get to know him better. He's really nice. I mean, nice is a strong word, but...
Sure.
You know, in the Free City, they're called, the Militia Twins. It's adorable how clueless you are. Alright, well, was that literally it? You're just trying to pump me for information about my brother?
Absolutely not. Just
Oh, you were gonna tell me about my bonus? That is so nice of you. Can I get like 10% extra for being friends with family?
we'll discuss that later.
And she like swings her arm around your neck and she's like, "You are too fun to fuck with. You know that, right? But I still love you." And I kiss him on the cheek.
The whole time, whenever you say anything about Tobin, he turns bright red, but he doesn't really notice it.
Yeah, he doesn't realize it, but everyone else does. And I ruffle your hair and I say, "Anything else, boss?"
That should be all.
Alright.
Let's make haste.
Okay, so you're obviously having to helm this. You have the general direction, and you have the general distance. But I need you, along with one other person, to help you make survival checks. You can make it with advantage, or you can make it individually.
Advantage.
Okay. But you'd be making it with advantage. Who's helping him?
What is it? Survival?
Survival checks. One, he chose advantage, so who's helping him make the survival check?
I have +0 and I'm not proficient, so.
Survival. I have +5.
Okay.
So I can help her.
We have a
I'm
winner.
used to being in the wild and navigating.
Right.
Yeah, speaks to me.
So go ahead and roll survival with advantage.
Do I add her bonus?
Nope. Yours.
Yeah. There we go.
Even with the magic?
What was it?
I rolled a 10, and we'll see what I have.
That's not bad. And whatever result he gets, the way Cinder helps him too is like basically like as he'll start to take a wrong path or something, she'll like the moss grows on this side. Or she'll like kind of like turn him slightly.
That would be a 10 plus 1.
11.
Okay.
We'll see how much it works.
Yeah, it's not a matter of not being able to. It's a matter of time and how many turnarounds and dead ends you find yourself. So, as you begin your travels and you leave the sites of Diamond Lake, you head into the Cairn Hills proper. These hilly landscapes are mostly grassland, but they're very dramatic and rolling. Think of like kind of like the Shire, just less green, just very rolly, big hills. And some of these hills kind of abut and have like rock cliff faces, just very rocky in general. And to the north, as you're traveling, you can actually see the mountains, the Lontham Peaks, and the oh, forgot the name of the mountain range. The Lontham Peaks. Oh yeah, and the Drake Watch Mountains. You can see them kind of all in your periphery. So these huge mountains, and you're in the hills that lead up to those mountains. So you spend about 4 hours trekking through.
Pull up the traveling map.
In the dark.
So
Not full dark.
we can see,
How many hours?
but I'm assuming that you guys have torches or something else, or lanterns, or yeah, because it's
4 hours?
dim.
That's, well, yeah, but it's like 10.
So here's the world map, and you guys are obviously a Diamond Lake, right? This is the town of Erie, where you're from, Coven. This is where your parents are in Blackwall Keep. This is the Free City. You guys are traveling in this general direction, right? So you guys have gotten it about here. Let's see. About here. Let's see. That is about 15 miles into the hills.
Can I make another check?
Well, you're navigating this area, and you're in proper wilderness now. You've passed many of the outlying farmsteads. You've passed any semblance of civilization, and you're in a very open, like no trees, no, just almost like an open, rolling cliff-like plain, like these jutting rocks, and off in the distance, at about 60 feet, who has, it'd actually just be Coben and Valeth that can't see very well. Everybody else sees fairly fine. It is moonlight. It is actually over half moon, so it's a waxing moon. It's going to full, or no, it's going from full, and so it's still large, and it provides enough moonlight for you guys to see. For you guys, it's very
And they
dim.
have like torches and stuff though.
Okay, so you guys have lights and stuff that you're lit, or
Well, and did you ever say whether... Because we never talked about the items.
No. I do not.
Does the hawk familiar have dark vision?
No.
Yeah, I believe so.
A hawks? Hawks can't see in the dark.
Not if it's not magical.
I don't know.
like a magical one.
I thought they just had advantage on perception.
I don't know.
Maybe D&D hawks can see in the dark. I don't know.
That's where I'm going with you. Let's see.
Or hawks in this world can see in the dark.
Yeah, because they hunt by night.
Yeah.
Like owls.
Like bats.
They do not have dark vision. Owls would.
Owls do.
I mean, I could do that too, but
You don't even have to clean up their shit.
But anyway, about 60 feet ahead of you, you two just see kind of blackness. Envy and Cinder and Connor, you see in the face of one of these jutting cliffs, these monoliths of rock and rubble, a dark opening that is clearly not just a hole. It is hewn. It is purposeful. It catches your eye as like a round arch almost.
Jesse brought up something. We need to talk about our magical items.
We don't. We sure don't. And any magical items that you guys, you will find them, or I will give them to you.
Is that what you mean by the special items?
So, yeah. So you guys have found an entrance to some underground situation. So,
Is it perhaps that one?
Does it give off a Cairn kind of sense?
Does it give off a Karen kind of sense?
Do we have some way of like?
Can I roll a
identifying this is the
history
right
check?
Karen?
Yeah, so yeah, go ahead and roll history checks. All the Karens.
Because I know what I'm looking for, so
Yeah.
I rolled a 17.
Okay.
What'd you roll?
God.
Nice.
9.
Rolling like a mix. Like I had an actual 20 and then I had an actual
History,
1.
if you want.
I'm sure. Oh, yep. Shit.
Oh shit, there.
21.
21. Well, one of the things that you recall about the Whispering Cairn is it is said to literally produce like whispers. It's a very windy area, a very windy cavern. You're not sure.
So I make a perception check.
Sure, if you want. But all of the cairns in the Cairn Hills have like they're thousands and thousands of years old, so some of the entrances are just no more than like spaces between rocks. This one's fairly obvious. You do have a general description, and it does seem to fit. Like it's an obvious entrance. And looking around, you do find some indications. There are some indications that there's been some like foot paths in the recent months or so. As far as a 17 for history,
Doesn't
Cinder.
matter. Yeah.
Yeah, the wind
Mhm.
here is unnaturally constant. It's just ever so slightly breezy all of the time. And so it doesn't seem to matter, you know,
Mhm.
there's this ever present breeze. So there's something. Yeah.
Cinder's just gonna start walking towards it.
You said it whispers.
Yes, right. This seems to be the right place.
Perfect. Let's. Wait, are we going in right now, or are we camping out first?
Up to you. Right now,
awesome.
as far as the clock is concerned, it is 10 p.m. So it is fully night.
Yeah, she'll look to Connor.
Perhaps we should take a brief look inside and see if there's a safe place to set up camp inside.
Inside the tomb.
Yeah, why not?
In the entrance.
Alright. I'll resume my walking towards the entrance.
I'm assuming you guys all
I pull
follow.
out my hooded lantern.
Yeah, and you light it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a light source that you're going to pull out?
Yeah,
And
should I
I'm
pull out a
going
torch?
to take, before I start walking again though, I'm going to take a moment to attune to a stance. Boop boop a doop. Whoo. You know what I think I'm gonna do is yeah, even though it's air, I'm gonna attune to my, I'm gonna take a moment to concentrate and just kind of feel the earth beneath my, and she just takes a moment and like takes like a breath and just feels the earth beneath her feet, and I'm gonna attune to the stance of the earth
Okay.
as I walk into this entrance.
So as you 5, technically 6 if we're counting starlight, tentatively approach with your lantern and your torch and your natural vision, cautiously approaching the entrance. The entrance before you looms 20 feet above. It's this massive yawning kind of portal into the rock and the hill below. And there is this ever-present kind of there's very low wind that is cool and like cold to the touch. It's that kind of coming out of the cairn itself, and it's enough to kind of like blow your hair a bit, like the wispy strands, but it's not a force, you know. But that sound, if you listen close enough, you can almost hear like actual people whispering or talking. It's a strange effect. You're not sure if it's natural or if there's something in there. But as you make your way into the darkness, we're going to take a little bit of a break.
Good. Because I have to go to the bathroom.
Be right back.